All right, hello and welcome back to the channel. This is Kevin with Everglades Canine Academy, and today I'm gonna make a video with the beautiful Cocker Spaniel, Maisie. Um, to kind of catch you up, she's doing a board and train with me for the next 2 weeks. Today is day 3 with her, so she's getting pretty comfortable with her surroundings. She's starting to, sit pretty at attention a little bit. Still kind of just doing some foundational things with her, um, some mild leash training. But today's video, I kind of wanted to talk about something that I don't think I've ever talked about on the channel, and something that I wanted to bring up just so everyday people can know how to pet a dog, whether it's your dog or somebody else's dog. There's a thing called petting confirmation. So, when we're petting someone's dog or even petting our own dog, there's actually better practices and better ways to pet your dog. Um, I see a lot of people, they'll just go in and they'll scruff the dog or they'll pet the dog on top of the head and they'll get the dog all riled up. Um, and some people don't see the signs that canines give off. Oftentimes, I do see canines give off signs of aversion, and it can be really subtle if you're not keen on canine behavior or you don't understand the body language that the dog is giving you. So, just a little background with Maisie. In her rap sheet and in her in talking with her owners, we did have conversations that sometimes she bites the family, right? When they touch her a certain way, uh, or like when they pet her on the butt or something like that, she has been known to growl and even nip. So, so far I've been handling her, and she hasn't growled or nipped at me. That's not saying that she doesn't have some sort of fear reactivity, because she is pretty skittish dog. Um, like, for example, I think like a leaf fell off a tree the other day, or like a palm frond, one of my palm trees. It's kind of bigger, so it made a little bit of a noise, and she tried to run away really fast, right? So that's kind of telling me that she has a little bit of food aversion. Or, I'm sorry, not food aversion. Just a little bit of fear. Okay, so in dealing with dogs with bite cases, I'm always prepared. I have like bite gloves just in case, but she's not really giving me a lot of signs of like fear aggression. And I'm gonna kind of break down how I pet dogs and what petting confirmation is. I think it's a really important subject. Um, it really has nothing to do with obedience training, but it does help developing better behaviors in your dog, and it really helps you if you can really understand this. This will help you when you approach other dogs or your friends' dogs. And coming from a professional, when I go to my friend's house and they have a dog and the dog is all over me, I mean, I would hope you take this advice, but I don't pet dogs for a very long time. I may not pet your dog for the whole night, depending on how I feel the dog is. Even if they're really excited to see me, I don't want the dog to build on that excitement. So I would typically just ignore dogs for a while before, I give them my attention. All right. But petting confirmation in a nutshell is, you pet the dog in a certain area of their body and then you just stop. And then you see if the dog gives signs on if they want to be pet again. It's very obvious when the dog wants to be pet again. They'll curl up on you. Maybe sometimes they even try to jump up and lick you and stuff like that. And these are all signs of like, okay, the dog is willing and accepting of being pet or touched uh, in a friendly manner, right? So signs of avoidance are like if the dog's not panting, um, if the dog's looking away from you while you like move to touch their face, if the dog moves their head away from your hand, that's like a clear sign that the dog doesn't want to be pet. And I know some people that are like, well, I'm going to pet the dog anyway because I love dogs. But, I really urge you to, just have a little bit of respect for the dog. Most dogs are nice enough to not bite back, and they'll just accept being pet, even when they don't want to be touched. But, we're always looking for better practices as trainers, and you should be too, as a canine owner or just canine lover. Be looking for better practices when it comes to handling canines. So, petting confirmation, it's a really easy thing to do. It will help you establish a better relationship with your dog. Um, and like I said, if your dog is really aggressive and doesn't like being touched, I know it's kind of a heartbreaker, but you just might not be able to pet your dog if the dog doesn't want to be pet. You have to find other ways to show the dog, or start obviously completely desensitizing the dog to being touched and pet. So today we're gonna kind of run down with Maisie on what I'm doing, because when I first got her, I was kind of assessing. You know, her owners are telling me she doesn't like to be pet in the butt or like picked up. Now I haven't picked her up yet, so I'm hoping to get there. Typically, I really don't find a huge reason to pick dogs up, like unless it's an emergency or the dog can't jump into the car. But I'm trying to do everything in my power to get the dog to do things on their own, and me telling the dog what to do, and the dog then training the dog on how to do those things. Um, so when I'm talking about petting confirmation, it's honestly really easy. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get on the dog's level. Um, and today I'm just going to be working with like a slip lead and a food pouch. And if you've noticed, she is actually coming up to me. She's sitting really nice. Good. And what I'm doing right here is I'm just giving her like one piece at a time when she sits really nice for me. So I'm really not telling her what to do. I'm not giving her a sit command. I'm kind of letting her naturally just fall into a relaxing state, and I'm trying to reinforce that behavior, because when she gets all excited, she jumps. I mean, she's jumped like almost up to my chest. She's very athletic. So, we don't want her jumping up. I do mildly correct her for jumping. I'll bop her off my knee and stuff like that and let her know that's not allowed. But when she just sits nice like this, good. When she sits nice like that, then I'm gonna reward. And so when we're petting our dogs, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and get down. All right, I'm gonna pet her a little bit. Good. And then I'm gonna stop. Okay, now look at what is she doing? She's like muzzling my hand. Look at her. Okay, she's a good girl. Oh, she's showing me big signs. Look at big signs that she wants to be pet. And then we're gonna stop. Look, and she's like, hey, why'd you stop that? Why'd you stop? Who's a good girl? Good. I like to pet under the chin. I don't really like to pet on top of the head. Look at that. Who's in heaven right now? Good. So just pet for a couple seconds, and then we stop. What is she giving me? Look, she's giving me real big signs right now. She's going on her belly, right? Oh, what a good girl. We want to praise, we want to pet, and then we stop. Good. Look, now I'm going to reward. All right. And it's this easy, guys, right? I don't really like the idea of building a relationship between like wrestling with the dog or anything like that. If you like to play rough, I recommend learning how to correctly play tug with your dog. I don't really like wrestling to the ground or doing headlocks or anything like that. Um, Good. So her owners say that like petting her on the butt is when sometimes she gets a little nosy. Here I am petting her on the butt. Good. And then I'm gonna stop. Good. Look at her. So she's going real submissive for me. She's like showing me her belly. That's a good girl. Go ahead, pet behind the ears. Good. And then we stop. Good, baby. She's interested. Here we go. Reaching over her. Throw a little leaf. Good. Can we lay down? There we go. Oh, yes, that's a good girl. There we go. Who's a good girl? Pet underneath the chin, pet the belly, and then we stop. Oh, who's a good girl? There we go. And then give her a little jackpot reward, just a little handful of kibble. All right. So, petting confirmation is something I recommend you practice. And it's actually really fun once you know how to pet a dog. It's and once you know how to pet a dog, you'll actually see how many other people pet their dog wrong or pet another dog incorrectly. And it's kind of one of those like blessing and a curse at the same time, because like once you know more information about canine training. I mean, there's so many dogs everywhere. So many people have dogs these days that you see the wrong practice happen all the time. All right, there we go. So I touched her when she was sniffing and she got a little stiff. I don't know if you saw that. So I stopped right away. And then she actually like came to me a little bit. Let's try again. So she's getting a little stiff right there. When I'm petting her, she stopped. She's not moving so much. So this could be a sign that she may be done. She may be done being pet. Oh, there she goes. Now she's giving me signs again. She's curling up under my leg. She's going like full submissive on her back, showing me her belly as a sign that she is indeed wanting to be pet in the moment. Good girl. There we go. So we're just gonna kind of do this every day. I just want to desensitize her to being pet and touched. And maybe at the end of the 2 weeks we can get to picking her up. We'll see how it goes. We just take it one day at a time. And that's look at see she's like, oh, that's a good girl. That's a good girl. She's such a sweet baby. Yes, you are. Good. There we go. Here we go. There we go. And a little bit of food along the way. So we're kind of just using a lot of positive association with this, right? Not meaning that I'm like doing happy things as in like a positive attitude, but more of like I'm adding things to the process, right? So like positive association. I'm adding treats, I'm adding in some verbal praise, and I'm petting her and then I'm stopping and I'm seeing what she does. So it's really that simple, folks. I mean, don't make it complicated. And if you see a dog, if you try to pet a dog and they turn away, or a big one is whale eyeing, the dog will turn its head, you'll kind of see the whites in its eyes. These are all signs that you probably shouldn't pet that dog. And especially if it's not your dog. All right. So, that's like kind of the first thing that I'm always doing, when I go to somebody's house. And if you're kind of in the mindset of like, well, I love dogs and I want to pet dogs, I would say to you, if you really love dogs, you will learn to listen to what they're trying to tell you. All right. So, if you really, I'll say that again, if you really love dogs, you'll learn to listen to them, to listen to their body language and what they want. All right. So just let that sink in. I hope that helps a little bit. Petting confirmation, right? We want to confirm that the dog wants to be pet and touched. All right. Let's see, she's coming back to me. That's a good baby. Good. Now we stop. Good. All right. And honestly, I think she's done. She's not really giving me big signs that she wants to be pet again. Maybe a little bit, but she's probably just a little curious. Little butt pats while she's sniffing. Looks good. Here we go. There you go. Good girl. All right. So just a quick video today. I just wanted to kind of put that out there as we're starting, because this is one thing that I started doing with Maisie right away was, just trying to handle her a little bit and get her desensitized to being touched. So, there's a right way to do it and there's wrong ways to do it. So this is a good example of, the right way to interact with your canine, and your relationship will be much better for it. Come here, baby. She's still working on the leash, but that's okay. She's coming around to the slip lead just fine. Good girl. There we go. Okay, so with that said, if you guys have noticed this before, or you didn't know what it was called, but you kind of naturally saw those signs and kind of doing what I say, that's great. Let me know down below in the comments. If you found that this was helpful, let me know in the comments. And like I said, always happy training, and we'll see you on the next video.